Well, so let's see. It was 1940, what? 3, 44,
Probably
and
43, 44, 45 in there.
now was there a draft?
No, I enlisted.
You enlisted, okay. And why did you decide to do that? How old were you?
I think I was 17.
Jesus, 17. Would they take you when you're 17?
I think they were at that time.
Okay. So there was a war going on in Germany and
I think
Japan.
Germany surrendered while I was halfway over to Guam.
Is that right? So you're on a ship.
The old troop ship took us over there. It took 24 days to make it from San Diego to Guam.
Really?
It was not a fast ship.
And what did you do on that ship?
Well, we got into a poker game. Basically, we were playing blackjack, and it was almost a non-stop game. We would stop the game to sleep for a little while. But I happened to have several $1,000s with me.
Really?
And most of them didn't have too much money. So you'd always play where the dealer would take ties and then he would bank the game or deal. And then you could buy the thing from the guy who did get it. So I ended up with it most of the way. I made a lot of money on that trip.
Did you really?
And I was feeling pretty good. Half of those sailors were, every morning they'd be hanging over the side of the ship puking their guts out.
Because there was booze on board.
And I was feeling pretty good. I hadn't got sick. But then that morning we could see Guam in the distance.
Okay, so it wasn't booze, it was simply motion sickness from the ship.
That's what they were getting, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But that morning they served us those slimy scrambled eggs, that they made. And it didn't take long before I was joining them at the side of the ship.
And was there did anybody have any, smuggle any booze on board or anything like that, or?
No, but once I got assigned to an aircraft carrier, I had nothing to do with it, but the officers had put their booze in there, the bulkhead there. They stored it under there, and they had welded it shut. And somehow or another, somebody got a cutting torch and cut that open and stole their booze. I don't think there wasn't a hell of a rat race raising that ship for that.
Well, you were telling me a little bit about some laundry or something.
About what?
Some laundry or some plumbing. So you did some plumbing on board that troop ship, right?
I was assigned to the ship fitters division, and they had charge of all the plumbing on the ship. And of course, every piece of clothes or everything was stamped with your name on it. So it went to the laundry, you could get it back. And whenever something got plugged up, we'd go down there and screw the cap off the clean-out plug, and the water and everything would wash out. And usually we'd find a T-shirt in there with a name on it. We'd take that to the executive officer, and the poor bastard with his name on it, whether he put it in or not, had to go clean the mess up and probably got a little extra duty too. In Boston, when we finally we decommissioned the ship in Boston. When it came back, we came back through the Panama Canal. We stopped a while in Norfolk, Virginia, and that was a town that had signs on their lawns that said "Sailors and dogs keep off the grass." we got up to Boston there, me and there was 4 of us. We rented a room in Boston, and we'd steal supplies from the ship and take them over there. We all had a girlfriend in Boston. We used to go to those bars around Scully Square most of the time. See, every big town had their Skid Row, and Scully Square was the one in Boston. It's no longer there. It's been replaced with all kind of new buildings now.
So as far as so you enlist in the Navy, and what did you do first, though? I mean, did you have some sort of training?
Well, I went to boot camp at Great Lakes, Illinois.
Okay. And what was boot camp like?
Nobody could say anything in favor of it. They used to drill you and march you and show you how to handle a rifle and things like that. And at one time there was a march I knew was going to be about 3 miles. So I'd always get to the end of it, and then there was a library there. As they turned the corner, I'd drop off and go sit in the library. And when I spotted them coming again, I'd get out there and get back at the end of the line. I never got caught at that.
So Germany surrendered or whatever while you were on the ship, and so all we had is the Japanese to deal with, huh?
Yeah.
And
this aircraft carrier, we never got in any combat. The closest thing we got to anything was there was a big mine that was floating. They blew up the mine. But we did go through a hurricane, or whatever they call the ones over there.
Right.
And there was some loose oxygen bottles laying on the deck. And they started rolling from one side of the ship to the other. And we had to grab those things and get them tied down.
So you got back, so you went to Guam, and then what happened after Guam?
Well, the ship sailed around the Pacific. We went to China. We went to Tianjin, China, and Tsingtao, China. They've changed the names now. But the nationalists, or the communist Chinese, were within 20 miles of Tianjin when we were there. And with American money, you could buy anything. I bought a package of diamonds for $25. And I had no knowledge of diamonds at the time. But I took them into San Francisco, and some jeweler gave me $100 for them. And I know he cheated me blind. They were probably worth a hell of a lot more.
And is that the your first experience in the jewelry business then, or?
Well, I used to make jewelry on the ship. I would take these Bakelite sheets that had lines in them, black and white, and by filing off the upper one, then you had a white border on the black, or black on the white, whatever it was. And I'd make pendants, rings, and bracelets out of them. I'd take stainless steel and cut out the backing, drill a hole through it, and
right.
And I'd solder the thing. Well, I'd take one of those dimes with the head on it. Cut that out and put it on the top of the Bakelite. But I could solder on that, so I'd solder through it to hold it together. And I'd sell those things for about $25 a piece. I sold a lot of them.
Really? And so then, okay, so the war's over, and come back to...
Well, we came back through the Panama Canal.
Right.
We stopped in Panama a while.
Well, but after the war, I mean, actually, the war probably wasn't... The war with the Japanese was... Were you in the service when we bombed the Japanese?
Yeah, when the Japanese surrendered, I suppose I was on that aircraft carrier. I don't remember that.
So you were on a troop ship at one point, but you were also on an aircraft carrier? Or
Well, the troop ship was nothing but a way to ship us over to Guam.
Well, right. But you did end up on an aircraft carrier?
They assigned us to an aircraft carrier in Guam.
Okay, I see.
It was a CVE, Carrier Vessel Escort.
Remember what the name of it was?
Well, that was a small aircraft carrier.
Okay.